Heidi hey. Welcome back. If you were here previously, and hello. Uh, we have some technology advancements today. I recently thought about the fact that I have pair of earbuds that were advertised to have a microphone attached. So I thought I would give that a try, and it was the truth. And it's pretty decent. So I will be using this moving forward. I don't actually get any sound data coming in for the earphones, so I figured I'd just take that one out so I can hear with my other ear. Um, if that makes sense. Excuse me. So I hope this helps with the sound. I know last time, well, I don't know. I was informed, thankfully. Um, I believe the username was Meg something. I'm sorry, I should have written it down. But uh, they very politely told me that the audio was kind of difficult last time because of the high wind and, well, the fact that I'm only using a computer mic. But that's okay. Adapt. I forget the rest of the saying, but you know what I mean. That's what it is to be human, is to continually learn, adapt, and survive. And get better. That's what we do. Right, Loki? Loki has joined us. He is directly in front of my computer. He's being very cute. Unfortunately, you guys cannot see him. You have to look at me instead. Um, I know I'm not a cat. I'm not nearly as cute to look at, but I hopefully am at least decent. I think I'm okay. Loki's giving me a dirty look. He knows he's better looking. Well, we can't all be cats, my darling. Yeah. Anyway, so I have been making some thoughts and decisions over the past week. I don't think I'm going to do the weekly reads anymore right now, just because I don't know if I don't want to say burnt out, just because, like, I wasn't even doing them for that long. It's more just I kept second guessing myself all the time, and I'm not feeling it. I don't feel like I'm doing anything effective. It's just not into it right now. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I am drinking a Pepsi so I can survive the day before I have to wake up early tomorrow. I have plans tomorrow, which is why I'm recording this on Friday. So I can actually take part in the YouTube scheduling uh, thing. Uh, Feature. Yes. Cough away from the microphone. Anyway, so Um, right. I don't want to do the weekly reads anymore, but I still do want to do bi-weekly videos, which, 2 videos a week. Just because, I don't know, when I originally started the actually putting up content in the channel, for some reason, I thought, yeah, 2 a week. That's a decent churn out for content, and it's not overtaxing on me. It just seems like a good number. So I figure I'll do 2 videos a week. I'm gonna try to record on Fridays to post on Saturday, and then record either Sunday or Monday and post on Monday. I haven't figured that much out yet, but I'll decide when the time comes. Things are a little more difficult for me because my niece is home from school, so I have to I'm just a little self-conscious because I usually record when no one else is on the same floor as me. But, you know, if you can't, you can't. Say la vie. Jesus. Anyway, but I figured for the beginning of the week, I'd just kind of do like a fun, silly story from my life, or even just like, something to that effect. It's kind of a get to know you sort of thing. Also, because I do have some fun, silly stories in my life, even some not fun ones that I'd be willing to share just because they're not too personal. Like, I'm not going to exactly tell you my tragic backstory, TM. Their trademark. but I'll share a few interesting things, like when I was hit by a car the first time I called 911. Just random little anecdotes like that. Uh, I know I'm sitting here laughing, going, "Oh, I was hit by a car," but it's I don't know. I can laugh about it now, and I guess that's the whole point. Uh, Sorry, he's right in front of the timer, so I can't see how long I've been recording. Anyway, uh, but yeah, no, for the latter half of the week, I think I'd like to talk about whatever media I'm consuming at the time. Books, movies, TV shows. Um, because sharing opinions always gets uh partially it gets more views, and mostly it's fun. That's what we all bond over. We bond over, oh my god, my porch, that bottom thing is crooked as hell. The picture, that was distracting. Anyway, but part of the humans Jesus. Oh, I am doing so well today. Really on top of my game. But part of the human experience, in my opinion, is bonding over shared interests. So, by sharing my interests, I'm inviting you guys to bond with me, form that parasocial relationship, and just, talk about things that we find interesting and optimistically keep it civil. I don't really want to see anybody yelling at each other or calling names or anything. Uh, I mean, you can call each other nice names, like "you beautiful person," or "my bitch in Christ," which to me is not an insult. I have a very skewed perspective of what's insulting and what's not. At the end of the day, it's about tone and who you're getting it from. But I have spent a lot of time rambling about my plans instead of actual content. Um, Thankfully, the thing I just kind of well, today I'm going to talk about a book series, and it's one that I finished very recently. I think it was just yesterday I wrapped it up. Uh, I don't actually have a lot to say about it at this time. Percy Jackson and the Olympians, which I know is, it's a kids book series. I don't care. It's entertaining, and I love it. So, eat my shorts. Oh, yes, Loki, I know. He doesn't care. That's the beauty of cats. Well, pets in general. Uh, Anyway, so I finished up Percy Jackson's yesterday. Not the Heroes of Olympus, just the first little quintet that was Percy's adventures from finding out he was a half blood to saving Olympus, and by proxy, the world. I just also want, well, or at least North America, the US. He pretty much just saved the US. Who knows what would have happened to the rest of the planet? Anyway, um, I just want to also note that I'm going to be discussing spoilers without much care. So I guess if you haven't read it, give it a shot, or at least look up a synopsis. Uh, if you don't do either of those things, then don't get mad at me if you were interested in reading it yourself. Um, if you weren't, then I guess just enjoy me babbling about something that you don't really give a hoot one way or another. Um, Either way, so I guess I'm not really gonna give like I'll discuss spoilers freely, but I'm not gonna give like book by book synopsis and review. That's not really what I'm up to. My main goal is just to share my thoughts and opinions, and usually when it comes to stuff like that, when I'm content with something, I find I don't have as much to say, because it's just like, oh yes, it was good, I liked it, and I don't have a whole lot to add. Um, I have a couple of discrepancies, I guess. Nothing that's like world-endingly bad for me though, and nothing that ruins the series. It's just kind of like personal complaints. I'm sure that there's more in the series to fuss about than I personally see because, I'm a white girl. It was written by a white dude. Like, there's a fair amount of same vibes. Um, but, so if there's any really problematic content, it's not stuff that I'm personally gonna see, unfortunately, unless it's like blaringly obvious kind of stuff. Um, there was some like her assuming genders that that's just it's a product of its time, from the early thousands, which I guess I shouldn't be saying a product of its time about when it was, that recent. But still, like you can tell from the writing, the references and stuff, it's like, yeah. And even back then we weren't very trans conscious as we should have been. But like I said earlier, we learn, we improve. And that's something I have to give Rick Riordan is he seems to have learned fairly well. I haven't read as much of his new stuff though. I just was not. I tried the Trials of Apollo. I was not that interested. I did try Magnus Chase too, and I feel kind of bad for that because like I like Norse mythology well enough, but I just didn't like it as much as Greek or even Egyptian mythology. I read all three of the Kane Chronicles and I loved them. But ever since I was a kid, I loved Greek and Egyptian mythology, so of course I was going to read the series that pertained to my interests. Um, but I did read and enjoy the first Magnus uh, Chase book. But like I said, it just didn't catch a hold on me like the others. You would think Trials of Apollo would appeal to me more, but I was just kind of like, no. Also, because like I'm team, please give Percy a break. Um, that and I heard he killed Jason, and I'm not into that. So uh, I'm just kind of I don't know. I'm content with the end of the Heroes of Olympus, so I didn't feel the need to move on. Which personally I think is fine. Like if you have a good stopping point in the series, then by all means stop. You're not obligated to keep reading. That's the beauty of free choice. But anyway, the only things that I saw, well, I shouldn't say the only things I saw majorly wrong. Roll. Okay. One of the things that really bothered me about just Rick Riordan's writing in general And this is really poignant for the early thousands in general, uh, like pre 2010. Uh, Even going into the teens is this demonification of girliness. You know, like, oh, pink, blonde, dumb. Like, you're girly means you're a frivolous idiot. And that's not true, as it has been proven time and time again. Yes, sometimes it is true, but not necessarily. And of course, it is good to be smart and form your own opinions and, dress however you like, but you shouldn't be, trashing other people for also following that rule. Even and especially if that rule includes, like, wearing hot pink mini skirts and carrying a little tiny dog. Like, there's really nothing wrong with that. There really isn't. It's so what bugged me about the Percy Jackson series is child of Aphrodite, and just even how he interpreted Aphrodite, although I do still really love the fact that Aphrodite is essentially a shapeshifter. Because beauty is in the eye of the beholder, she's never going to look the same to the same person. Or to two different people. Like, they're never going to see the same person. And even to the one person, like I accidentally said prematurely, she's not going to look the same minute to minute. Because your persona, like, the idea of beauty is always shifting, and it depends sometimes on your mood, on what you're into, what you've experienced. And I thought that was a very interesting and honestly clever way to go about it. But the problem is that he said, oh, God and love, the goddess of love and beauty, automatically she's, vain and silly and not taking things seriously, and her kids are, all of her children, no exceptions, are also vain and silly and just want to be in love and do their makeup and just basically not have brains and not be combatant. Which it's a stereotype. That's kind of a problem with a lot of the uh cabins. The demigod children is they're kind of like cabins of stereotypes, and it's not great. But the Aphrodite one is the worst. Um, just because, like I said, they're just a bunch of vapid beauty freaks, and it's like, no, no, that's not good. That's and it's not nice. It's because, like, yes, you can be a cabin full of vapid beauty freaks, whatever. That's fine. But the way that they're written about is like they're silly. Like, Percy, the main character, sees them as silly and he doesn't take them seriously. And you can tell that he just kind of doesn't care a whole lot about them, one way or another. And that's just not great. And I don't think that's a good lesson to impart, is that it's all about the implications there. But like I said, that was a huge thing in the year, like, I keep thinking 2007 specifically, but I don't remember. I was in 7th grade. Uh, yeah, I was in 7th and 8th grade. Um, so, like, I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention. I didn't really have access to modern media, or, like, the news, or just, like, cable or anything like that. I didn't pay attention to celebrities and crap. That was never a vibe with me. Um, but the important thing is just that, even just going to school, I could see it, going to school, picking up from other kids, picking up from what media I did consume. I mean, just look at Legally Blonde. That's around when it came out, and it sums up the point perfectly. Although it does kind of paint Elle Woods as an exception, because you got her whole sorority of, you know, pink vapid beauty freaks, and then Elle's the only one that's driven and smart and goes to Harvard and everything, and it's just, oh no, something fell over. I will have to pick that up. Thankfully, it's nothing breakable. Anyway, um, but yeah, it's just a stereotype that bugs me a lot because the demonification of girliness is just saying, oh, being a girl is bad. And I acknowledge that's not necessarily what Rick Riordan was trying to say. That's just a stereotype he went along with for probably more for comedic value than anything else. I'm not going to try to defend or build him up because I don't know what was going on in his brain. I just know that that was, a big stereotype at the time. So it was just kind of easy to incorporate, especially because it was probably playing in his mind as well. I mean, he is a middle-aged white dude. And that's part of the whole misogyny is it sits in the back of your head. You don't think about it. You don't realize it until someone else says something, and then you go, "Oh, yeah, that's not great." But that's pretty much how I felt about the Aphrodite cabin the whole time I was reading the books. It's just, oh, that's not great. Um, in the end, it doesn't impact me too much one way or another, just because obviously I consciously see it and read it and go, "Oh no, that's not good." But that's, active reading skills, I guess. Or at least just having the cognitive presence to look at that and not be affected by it. Of course, it helps to be late 20s reading a children's book. Either way, that's pretty much just like the one major thing that I wanted to talk about that sits most forward in my mind is just that issue. Otherwise, I don't really have a whole lot to say about the books. That doesn't go into a whole talk about Greek mythology in general, which I see I'm already over the 20-minute mark, so I might save that for another talk. I know, I don't know if next week I will talk about the book series that I just started today. Of course, I say just started. I'm pretty much rereading everything off of my bookshelf right now. So it's all stuff that I've read before and I'm familiar with and I'm comfortable talking about. But I started rereading the manga series Siren. Um, and I'm excited to talk about that, but I might end up having a Greek mythology discussion before that, just because I do love Greek mythology. But we'll see. We'll see. I already know what I want to talk about Monday. And, um, yeah, I just have to give it some thought. I know the Greek mythology discussion's probably going to be, God, that's probably going to take like half an hour to get through because I have a lot to say. I love Greek mythology. I'm not a buff. Like, I don't know all the factoids and, uh, original versus modern. A lot of that, I'd say you'd more want to check out Jake W. or, I don't actually know many other Greek mythology YouTubers. I follow Jake W. Um, because he does little animatics explaining Greek myths, but he also goes into uh, Norse mythology, Egyptian mythology, and recently he had a look at the Book of Genesis. But specifically, he always has uh, sources. Like he always recites sources and things. So like he's actually looked at a lot of the behind the scenes original versus modern versus etc. I personally don't have the patience for that sort of thing right now, and that's not exactly what I'm going for, especially because I don't plan on focusing on one thing or another. If I were doing a focus like that, then yes, I would do more thorough research. But right now, I'm pretty much just a personal opinion talking vlog, sharing thoughts and ideas. And occasionally, my cat wanders on screen. Fun times. But I hope that you guys continue to find me entertaining. Shout out to my one subscriber. You're cool. I don't know why I keep shouting that out. I think I'm still just like mystified at the fact that I even have a subscriber, and it's just really exciting. Also, shout out to. Did I say Meg earlier or did I say Deb? Oh God. I just remembered it's Deb. Oh God, I really hope I didn't say Meg. Oh no. I am so sorry. Oh, I really should have looked up the commenter, the person who commented on my previous vlog. I should have looked up your username before I started this. I didn't think that through. But I just remembered there was like numbers and letters, but I specifically saw Deb because I thought, oh, yeah, like my aunt. One of my aunt's name is Debbie. So that just kind of stuck out to me. But I really appreciated the comment. That was like I know I said so when I replied, but I'm still kind of excited that even happened. Just getting interaction from the audience just puts me in a tizzy because like I'm used to just kind of sending my stuff out into the void and then the void just kind of being the void. So yeah, that's just, personal opinions and excitement. Oh, excuse me. Anyway, this is getting on to a half an hour, so I guess I'll just wrap it up here. I kind of feel like I didn't have as directed a conversation this time. Conversation. As directed a monologue this time. But, I don't write scripts or anything. I just kind of think of a topic, sit down, and ramble, so I probably should give myself like an outline at least, but I don't know. This is fun. I'm having fun, and I hope you guys are too. Um, so thanks for tuning in. I will see you all again on Monday. So have a nice day. Bye.